Well, good hump day morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods, shall we? Hope everybody's doing great. Hope all your taco dreams came true yesterday. Last night, we got word that Michael Irvin's attorneys are pissed about the situation with the Marriott Hotel getting the case moved to federal court. I did a video on that late last night about 11:30 because that's when we had heard from their attorneys. But they basically are mad because Marriott has turned over nothing that the other court, the lower court, had requested, and now we're going to see if there's an expedited hearing to bring forth, forcing Marriott's hand on bringing any evidence that they had. Basically, Zeke Elliott's attorneys were upset because it's like, look, you have accused. You have not the police. The police haven't indicted him. The courts haven't indicted Zeke Elliott. The police weren't involved. This almost feels similar to what happened to him before, where the NFL ended up suspending him without any evidence from the police department or the court system. It's exactly the same. This is literally a person who worked for Marriott accusing Zeke Elliott and costing him his job. Same as the case before where it was he said, she said. There were no police involved. The NFL, of course, did an investigation, 100-plus page report, where their own people said, there's no there. Yet, he got suspended for 6 games. This kind of feels the same here, where there's no police involved. There's no report. And right now, we don't see any evidence of anything, but yet Michael Irvin has, at the moment, lost his jobs. So we'll see what happens. We'll follow the latest developments on if any of that changes, if there's any new updates and so on. But right now, the NFL teams, even though the NFL season has not started officially, does not start until the 15th of March. I don't know why they even say the NFL season starts on X day, because it never really ends. Super Bowl was only a week and a half ago. We're already seeing, Derek Carr doing this victory tour where all of a sudden Derek Carr is thought of as an exceptional quarterback. And I sit there and look at it and say they had the highest rushing total running back. They had Devontae Adams, and he couldn't succeed. Yet people are killing my quarterback, who had Michael Gallup on one leg and Noah Brown as his number 2 wide receiver. And they're saying Dak sucks. But Derek Carr, the Jets literally said, you have Hall of Fame potential. This shit is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. Derek Carr, all of a sudden now he is the greatest quarterback since Joe Montana? Let's get real here. In the meantime, teams are trying to figure out who we're going to keep and who we're going to let go, because free agency is upon us. Legal tampering starts the 13th of March. We have the combine on the 2nd through the 4th. And right now, teams need to get under the cap, and the Cowboys are one of those. And we have 19 free agents, some of which are key players. Some you can say we can replace in free agency with others. Some of them need to go and be replaced. But let's go down the list of the 19 that we have right now. We have safety Donovan Wilson, who has been a great find, a guy who was a 6th-round pick. We have Leighton Vander Esch, who was undervalued until he got hurt, and we found out that he was our best tackler. Noah Brown, who had more catches this season than in his career combined, who was thrust into a starting role more than you really want to have him go. Dante Fowler, who came in, ended up having 6 sacks, was good for us. C.J. Godwin, cornerback, who played some at cornerback, but is definitely one of our best special teamers. Tony Pollard, who, let's be clear, the Cowboys want to get a long-term deal for him, but will franchise tag him if they can't, and probably will just to buy themselves some more time. There's Anthony Brown, who the Cowboys has been much maligned by the fan base, who ended up getting injured in December. He was missed, but I don't think that they're going to bring him back. Jonathan Haskins, pickup from the Raiders during the season, one of the few really big bodies that played well. He ended up having the abdominal strain, which slowed him down. But, having guys that are 6'2", and about 320 plus pounds that are like a fire hydrant are few and far between on this. We also have Cooper Rush, who came in and played outstanding for us. I still say Cooper Rush you could put on the list of MVPs for the Cowboys, because had he not won those games, we're not in the playoffs. We're not. Carlos Watkins, another one of our defensive linemen who we originally signed 2 years ago, dirt cheap contract, and is played well for us. Most people don't think about the defensive line, but defensive line is key. Connor McGovern, the governor, played good this year. I don't know that he's lived up to the expectations of him being drafted, but I would love for him to be able to be in a backup role, but we'll see where that goes. Linebacker Luke Gifford, another special team standout guy, that has played a little bit at linebacker, but mostly special teams. Long snapper Matt Overton, long snapper Jake McQuaid, Jason Peters, who came in late and when he played, was able to play, was good. I'm not sure that they're going to bring back Jason Peters, although he was dirt cheap. He might want to come back for the mentorship and for just being on the team. And I'm not sure that that's the worst idea. He did still play well, but again, just matters of how much money. T.Y. Hilton, who actually, you wonder had he been able to be there the whole season and getting in shape and working with Dak, if he had been, a good player for us. But coming in and the few practices that he had, it's not really a great sample. Anthony Barr, again, another one of the free agent signings that we did at the end of camp, had a few injuries and things that probably slowed him down. I'm not sure that they would bring him back. Dalton Schultz, our tight end, who does get a lot of catches. This year was a step back for him. He had the PCL injury, and it slowed him down as well. But I'm not sure the Cowboys are ready to make him a long-term commitment. And Brett Maher, Money Maher, who the Cowboys have already said that they are looking elsewhere. So that's the list of the free agents that we currently have. And that's going to take a chunk of change to get them signed. Now, we all know that Catboy always believes, we believe in our guys. There is a point to that, because the Cowboys actually did well in free agency, bargain basement shopping. They have found some diamonds in the rough. When you think of a guy like Jaron Kearse and Donovan Wilson and even guys like Carlos Watkins and stuff, that's not really the issue. In fact, that's great that you find role players there, but sometimes you need a few guys that take an average team to above average, and that's the shortcoming that the Cowboys have. We need some more playmakers. We truly do. We cannot go through with a wide receiver core like we had this past year. Now, maybe Jalen Tolbert steps up and becomes, maybe a fifth or a fourth, wide receiver and plays better. Maybe Michael Gallup's knee gets better and he plays better than he did last year. It does really take a year plus to get over the recovery on the ACL and hope that he's got the speed that he had in the deep threat ability. But we can't, and of course, Noah Brown having improved, but still a bit of butterfingers. You need to go ahead and go out and just get yourselves a playmaker. And bargain basement shopping for those guys is not going to be an issue. So the Cowboys are going to have to do two things that they don't want to do. They're going to have to go ahead and mortgage the future a bit by restructuring to bring back some of these key personnel, as well as to sign some others. And they're going to have to do a little bit more in free agency. Typically, Cowboys go on vacation the first week or two of free agency, just get out of the office. And now I think they have to start being a player. That is, if they want to end up being in Vegas. Let's listen to ESPN on the Tony Pollard situation.
Game for the Dallas Cowboys. Interesting decision for them. You see Tony Pollard there. He's the focus of this discussion with Cowboys reporter Todd Archer. And Todd, knowing Tony Pollard is a franchise tag candidate, what are the Cowboys' plans with using the franchise tag this offseason?
Well, Matt, much like the other guys, what they've said, that the team would like to get a multi-year deal done with them. But if they can't, then they'll likely use the tag. But I'm told that's not a sure thing yet. The Cowboys will have their personnel meetings here this week, and then they'll go to the Combine, meet with Tony Pollard's agent, see if they can work on some parameters, find a path to a deal. Now, in 2022, Pollard showed he can handle a larger role, more than 1,000 yards rushing, 12 touchdowns, more than he had in his first 3 years combined, made the Pro Bowl. He had an ankle surgery from the playoff game, a high ankle sprain. Expect to be 100%, though, by time training camp starts. But, again, deal first, tag second, and we should know something by the Combine, whether the Cowboys will actually use that by the March 7 deadline.
Yeah, there is that 2-week window here starting today. And look, maybe the most polarizing contract in Dallas for the last couple of years, it's Zeke Elliott. He is still on the roster. With the Cowboys looking to maybe sign Pollard to that multi-year deal, what does that do for the future of Zeke and Big D?
Right. Stephen Jones acknowledged at the Senior Bowl that there's work to be done here. There's no more guaranteed money left on his contract. He's set to make $10.9 million this season. The Cowboys can save either $4.9 million or $10.9 million, depending on the designation. If they were to cut him, they could ask him to take a pay cut. And again, that'll be a conversation they'll have at the Combine. But, Matt, in the last 4 games of the season, Elliott averaged 2.7 yards per carry. He still has a role. He had 12 touchdowns. He's a good pass protector. He can get the short yardage. First downs. But what's the price you pay for that? And I think that's where the Cowboys come in. So just a bit of a history lesson here. In 2013, Matt, you might have been around here still. I'm not sure. The Cowboys released DeMarcus Ware. They didn't offer him a pay cut. In 2017, the Cowboys released Dez Bryant. They didn't offer him a pay cut. You could be looking at Ezekiel Elliott going down a similar path, and then the Cowboys running back room looking a whole lot different in 2023.
You nailed it, Todd, because there is a role for Zeke, but that's an expensive role. And if they use the tag on Pollard, it would be the 6th straight year the Cowboys have used a franchise tag on a player. That's Todd Archer with this.
Yeah, 6 straight years of using the franchise tag. We'll see what happens with this, but right now I've got to get my behind on the road. We'll have definitely a lot more to talk about. Of course, when I'm on the road, I do a lot of thinking. A couple of things I've been thinking about is this revisionist history about Daniel Jones and how everybody has focused in on Dak Prescott's interceptions this year, where he's had 1 year in all the years of being the quarterback of the Cowboys with turnovers. And you've got Daniel Jones, who's had the 1 year of not having a lot of turnovers. And all of a sudden, Daniel Jones is great, Dak is trash. And, of course, the revisionist history of Derek Carr, who had all kinds of weapons with the Raiders and got benched. But now, all of a sudden, people are talking about him as a Hall of Fame potential? Seriously? Yeah, we'll definitely get to all that. But as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys, as well as you ladies.
Our coach here,